Hello, welcome one more time. How's everybody doing? I am Roman, I am Flutter GDE. This is Live Coding After Hours, Flutter Edition. I already see people in the chat just popping and leaving your messages in there. Thank you guys for your support. Randall, happy birthday, buddy. Happy belated birthday. Hey, Diern, how you doing, buddy? I see a bunch of people already in the chat just dropping their messages. We're going to have an amazing session tonight. This is Live Coding After Hours Flutter Edition. I've been building this casual game for the past 13 weeks. And finally, in tonight's episode, we're going to be publishing it live to the Google Play Store. We're going to be publishing the Android version of this application. Guys, we made it. Finally, we made it. We were able to finally, after 13 episodes, we were able to build the application. We have the Android version ready. After the holidays, of course, we're going to be deploying the iOS version to the App Store. So please make sure not to miss that episode as well. So make sure to stay tuned for the next... Sorry about that. Make sure to stay tuned for the next episode where we're going to be deploying then the iOS version of that. So again, like I said, I'm Roman. I am a Flutter GDE. We're gonna publish our application to the Google Play Store. Probably will be available in a couple of hours, and you will be able to download it. Give me your critique, find bugs, let me know. I've already tested it heavily, but hey, I love to put my code out there, for people to test it, for people to play with it, and give me your feedback, your honest feedback. So thank you so much, guys. Remember, this is the application that we've been building, that we just built. We've added so many great features to it. Now it's time for you to test it. Give me your feedback. Let's publish it now publicly to the Google Play Store. And let's see how this goes. So, again, we have a lot to cover, but I just wanted to remind everybody. Remember to tweet Flutter Live Coding throughout this session. We're going to see how much we can cover in an hour. I'm pretty sure we're going to probably get it under an hour, but let's make sure to publish this application to the Google Play Store. Make sure to tweet Flutter Live Coding throughout this session. At the end of the session, you know what's going to happen. I'm going to be raffling a Flutter t-shirt. Not as cool as this one. No, actually even cooler than this one, because this one only has the logo. So the other one is actually much cooler. I know like some of you have already gotten it, but make sure to tweet Flutter Live Coding. I hope Elon Musk is watching this, because he already pinged me. He said, Roman, I want you to, I want people to tweet the hell out of Flutter Live Coding, because we want to, increase Twitter's traffic. So he might be watching this. Yes. So yes, tweet Flutter Live Coding. At the end, I'm going to send you a Flutter t-shirt right at your house. So thank you. Let's continue. So this is the application. Remember, guys, this is exactly... Hey, Damien, how you doing, buddy? I would love for you to download the application once it's published, so you could give me your honest feedback as well. So thank you so much for... we have people from a lot of, multiple levels of knowledge, from beginners, intermediate, advanced, Flutter GDEs like Randall in the house. We got game developers like Diern, Damien, he's a up-and-coming developer. So we do have a lot of people who's going to help me test this application. So let's do this. So remember the application, what it is about. It's supposed to be a casual game developed in Flutter for both iOS and Android. It's about a little frog just, skipping through multiple leaves, getting to the end of the pond. And then at the end, the point of the game is to get to the end of the pond as fast as you can, not making sure not to fall into the water, making sure to accumulate points along the way, and the shortest time is actually then the winner. So if you remember in the help I explained how it actually works. You have to swipe. We're using swipe gestures in the direction of the leave and turn. Then that makes the little frog jump. Then you make sure you collect bugs, and you eat bugs and collect them along the way. And of course, you make sure that jump from leaf to leaf until reaching the end of the pond at the shortest amount of time. So that's pretty much a basic explanation of the game. In the options, we do have ways to mute all the sounds if you want to play, let's say at work, if you want to take a little break, because this is a casual game pretty much. So you want to play a little bit on Skip and Frog, mute all the sounds, and you can play. You can clear old game data. So I'm trying to make sure that, let's say, if you want to start all over, if you don't like the score that you got, or let's say you want to start all over, you want to clear the data of the logged in user, you could also do that. You could just click here, clear all game data. So we could do that. And of course, we're going to get the leaderboards. The leaderboards is the way for you to submit your score to Firebase into the backend of this application, which is powered by Firebase. You can sign in. Right now, you have sign in with Google. But if you are in the iOS version of the application, you're going to be able to log in with Apple. So I know that was one last thing that I added to the application because I know that I was going to get dinged by Apple if I didn't do this. So, for example, this is the iOS version. When you go to view leaderboards and you try to sign in from an Apple device, you can sign in with Apple, but you could also sign in with Google. You see, I'm making that distinction. If you're in an Android device, you can sign in with Google. I could have made it with Apple as well, but I said no. I want to just keep it sign in with Apple for iOS devices. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing in the next episode. For now, we're going to be building the application. We're going to be building it for release, and we're going to publish it to the Google Play Store. Remember how the game is. Remember, you hit start, and then you get like a little bit of onboarding. You can, hide the never show this again, or you can skip and start. And remember, you swipe in the direction of the leaves, which makes the little frog jump. If you swipe in the wrong direction, or you stay, for example, you wait a little longer, you're not doing anything, you're gonna get reminded by the application. You gotta make a move, because you're gonna exhaust the time. I didn't put any like a timer, kind of like closing the application. Although if you think that could be a good feature, we can add it. But for example, in this case, I'm just reminding people to make a move. You continue making the move, and then if you make the wrong move and you fall into the water, for example, if you do this and you swipe in the wrong direction, you're gonna lose. Pretty much, this is what shows. Like, you want to play again, you can start all over, or you can begin again the game. You can pause the game. That's cool. That way, let's say you want to continue later, it stops the time, it stops the counter. You can replay and start all over. You start the game and you continue. You can exit at any point. You want to exit the game. You can say yes or no. If no, the counter continues, and you have to continue swiping until you get to the end of the pond. At the end, then you make the last jump. You're done. Then you're able to submit your score to our Firebase backend. I'm also going to be protecting this application using Firebase App Check. App Check is the new feature in Firebase that allows you to add attestation to your applications, which allows only the traffic that comes from your application, from a signed authenticated user or from a signed application, to submit to access certain resources in Firebase. So that is exactly what we're going to be doing as well. But I'm going to keep it open for now. But then I'm going to turn on the Firebase app check once the application has been published, but we can take a look at that later. Let's continue, because we have to do a huge checklist. This is the checklist that we're going to complete tonight in order to publish this application to the Google Play Store. So stick around, make sure to tweet Flutter Live Coding as I go through this checklist, okay? So I'm gonna stop the game, I'm gonna say exit, I'm gonna get out of here. Now let's start going through our checklist. I'm actually gonna even be going through the link in Flutter, in the Flutter documentation, on how to build and release an Android application. I always do this because I try to make sure that I'm up to date on what's the latest in how to publish an Android application to the Google Play Store. So I'm gonna be dropping the link in the chat, and then you can actually let me try to drop it here in the chat. This is the link that I'm using. Is coming straight out of the Flutter documentation on how to build and release an Android application. So let's do it, because I haven't done it in a little bit. So let's try to do it. So we're gonna go through this checklist, which pretty much is gonna be this thing. So let's start. So building and release an Android application. You already have your application. It's all good. You've tested it. Now you're ready to publish. What are the steps that you need to go through? So let's start with the first one. Adding a launcher icon. I believe I do have a launcher icon. Remember, so I already have the launcher icon right here. When I click it, that's my launcher icon. I have my launcher image. So I don't have to do that because it's already been taken care of for me. Remember, when I added the dependency on the icons. Remember the icons launcher that created all my launcher icons and all of that. So I'm already taken care of as far as like that. So as far as adding a launcher icon, check. We're done. Let's continue to the next one. The next one is enabling material components. So material components, it says if your app uses platform views, then you want to enable material components. Mine is not using platform views, so I can skip right over this one. So I'm all good. So I'll say enabling material components, good. Next, signing the application. So you need to sign the application. The Play Store requires your application to be signed with a digital signature. So that's exactly what you're going to be doing. So what you do in Android is you have a deployment key and an upload key, like two signing keys. And then the way that you do is when you have an upload key to authenticate your app bundle or your APK, so that then you can upload that application to the App Store. So I already did just at least the upload key store, which this is the command that you need to execute in your local machine. For example, you say key tool on a Mac. Let's say I'm on a Mac right now. So you have to say key tool, generate key store, and then you get a JKS file. So if I go to my terminal, I'm going to show you that I already have that file in my local system because I've already tried, other applications and whatnot. But if I do ls here, I have an upload key store. If I try to cat this guy, see, it's got like a bunch of gibberish in it, so you can't even read it. So it's kind of like is that key, that upload key that you need to have to upload the file. After you have that upload key store in your home directory, which is where I have it, now remember it says that you need to keep it private. Don't check it into public source control. For example, I don't have it in my GitHub repo, so I have it locally in my home directory. I should actually even move it to maybe like a more secure location in my disk drive. So I should be able to do that later. But at least I just wanted to generate that, and I already did it. Now I have to reference. I think I have to reference the key store from the application. So the key here is you need to add a file named, let's say your project name, Android key.properties, and then you add the keys right here. You add the path to the key. You have to add a store password and the key password, and then a key alias. I already added those passwords in there. I'm not gonna show you that file, but at least I'm gonna show you that I did create it. It's here in the Android key properties right there. This local properties, it looks a little bit like this, but it's not like this. But the key properties has like some passwords that I use to kind of like create my key, and it has the path to that to my home upload key JKS file that is in my home directory. So it's in here in the key properties file. So I think I already, now let's see if for example, I'm good with that. So I created that. We're going to be using this file later when we build the application. So we're all good. So I'm going to say signing the app, check. Good. Next one. So configure signing in Gradle. So I need to take a look at some of these properties. I need to make sure that I did add those. So I'm going to go to my Android app build.gradle file. So I'm going to go to my Android app build.gradle, and I'm going to confirm that I have these properties. So I have to go, I have to load the key.properties file, remember? By finding this block and replacing it by this one right here. So let me make sure that I do have it. So I need to find this build types. I need to find this build types right here. You see, I already have the file. So here it is. So I already have my build types. It says signing configs, key store properties. I think I already have those. Here it is, key alias, key password, store file. So it's gonna read that property out of the key properties file, the key properties file. So he's gonna read all those values for signing the release version of my application. By the way, I'm not gonna be building an APK. I am actually gonna be building an app bundle, because according to Android and Google, an app bundle is actually better for distribution. So that's exactly what we're gonna be doing. So I make sure that I do have these, and here they are. I do have them, and my build type will be set to release. Before, it used to be set like for debug or whatever. Yeah, like this. It used to say debug, but I already replaced it. So shrinking, now the next one, shrinking the code with R8. R8 is already by default. So that's the code shrinker. Remember that people complain about Flutter that the application is a little bit bigger, is a little bit bloated, is really big. So you want to shrink the file. You want to make it more optimized and much more lightweight. So whenever you build an APK or an AAB file, the application app bundle, the application bundle, the R8 is the default by Google. So if you want to disable it, you can pass that. But by default, when I say build Flutter build app bundle later, already the R8 will be enabled. So I'm just going to say shrinking the code with R8, check. Because I'm not going to shrink it. I'm going to keep it. I'm not going to say no shrink. I'm going to shrink it. Next one, enabling multi-dex. Remember, multi-dex is whenever you want to, for example, if you, it's going to be included when you're targeting Android SDK 21 or later. It's actually for like when you're writing large applications and you have like large plugins. You can hit like that the limit, like the dex limit, right? So the dex limit is for remember, like which actually refers to kind of like how certain methods are, like see, for example, like here they even mention it. For example, like you may encounter Android's dex limit of 64K methods when targeting a minimum API of 20 or below. And then, for example, you say this may also be encountered when running debug versions of your app via Flutter Run and does not have shrinking enabled. So you opt into the multiplex, the multi-dex. I say multiplex. The multi-dex support. It says that the tool detects multi-dex build errors and all of that. You can also apply it manually, and all of that. So it's pretty good. It's also good to have it because it's kind of like supporting like the latest version of applications in Android. So it's always good to have that available. So I think I already have it available in Flutter. So if you search for like multi-dex, like in the search here, you will see here that I already have multi-dex enabled in my project. And there's even here let me do like a view word wrap. Look what it says here. If you wish to remove Flutter's multi-dex support, delete this entire file. So I already have like multi-dex support like here already set up. So you can also set multi-dex via the build.gradle. But it's already enabled for me. So I'm already keeping this configuration the way it is. So I'm all good with that. But you can enable it also through the build.gradle. So let's say enable multiplex support is already available in my application. So I'm going to just hit enable, check. Perfect. Let's continue reviewing the app manifest. So it's always good to do like one more pass at your app manifest, the Android manifest XML file. So if I go here to the app source main Android manifest, it's always good to like give it one more like review. For example, what I added to this Android manifest was actually the screens at which I want my application to be supported on. I don't want my application to be on large screens. I don't want them to be on tablets. Maybe later I can add responsiveness like I mentioned. But right now I only want normal screens, not small screens, not small screens, not large screens. I want also not low DPIs, but medium density independent pixels. So see, I added, for example, support screens. I said that I only want normal screens, meaning like regular phones. I don't want large or X large screens. And I added the compatible screens. I said that I wanted MDPI, high DPI, and extra high DPI. So, and that's exactly what I typed. I want this screen size type normal, but I want higher resolutions. I want to support like really cool, everybody pretty much has like really not super high-end devices, but at least medium to high devices, not too low, because I don't want them to have like a poor experience on the device. So that's why I also added this in the Android manifest. So the Android manifest has, again, the name of the label, so you always check that. The Android name is going to be populated already dynamically from the build.gradle. I also say that, what else do I add here? I have a theme, I have the launch mode and all of that. So all of the rest of the stuffs are enabled. I don't think I have to do, for example, here they suggest to add like the internet permission available. If your application needs internet access, then you should add that piece. For example, like you can add the Android permission, internet permission. For example, if you click here, you will see, for example, like this thing right here. You could do, I'm sorry, the internet permission, for example. Let's look it up. So if I do internet permission, oh, it doesn't show it. Okay, so here it doesn't show me, for example, like let me see if it, for example, like if you want to do internet permission, like this is how you do it. So you do, for example, Android. You could do Android manifest internet permission, for example. Like if you want to add that permission to your application, you have to add like this little chunk right here, for example. I don't need like, for example, in this case, I can add it just so that you can see that, you know, the application needs internet permission because you want to submit things to the, let's say to Firebase, you want to be connected. I'm not supporting like I'm actually supporting offline mode because you can actually go and play the application without no internet access, but whenever you're going to submit the application, then you do need it. So for now, I may not need it, but I'm just still gonna add it. So I'm gonna say users permission, internet permission, because you're gonna need like connectivity so that you can let's say send your score to Firebase, for example. I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna keep it like that. Let's continue with the rest of the stuff. So let's say you add other permissions and whatnot, then you're all good. Perfect. I think we reviewed the app manifest. We should be good with that, with whatever we have in there. Perfect. So I'm gonna say check. Let's continue on. So let's proceed. Yeah, so reviewing the Gradle build configuration. Now we're gonna be reviewing the Gradle build configuration. You can take a look at both build Gradles. The one at the app, inside of the app, which is kind of like the main one, and then you can even look at the whole project one as well. So you could do the Android build.gradle. Here you can take a look at a couple of things. You can take a look at, for example, like the version of Kotlin. You can take a look at, you know, the build folder that it uses for like generating the builds. But the main one is this one. You go to app, build.gradle, and here is where you definitely take a look at that. So for example, here you can take a look at, see, this is from where some of the things in the Android manifest get overwritten. Some of the values come from here. When you build your application, most of the configurations come from here, from the Android app build.gradle. So let me do view word wrap so that we can take a look. Yes, Damien already reminded me, yeah, to check the permissions, of course. And we're going to be doing the splitting per architecture. We're going to take a look at that as well. So thank you for that reminder. I use the compiled version, the NDK version, compiled options, and all of that. You know, I'm using the application ID. See, we're making sure that we're using the application ID. That is what actually feeds the application ID to the Android manifest. We do it from here. The minimum version, I'm actually specifying it to be 19 for certain packages that I'm using. So I'm hard coding it to be 19. That's the minimum SDK version. Then I'm using, remember, the signing configs and build types. I'm also using, remember, some of the dependencies and the application plugins that I'm using. For example, for Crashlytics, I have to add that so that I can implement Crashlytics. For Firebase, you need to add this, the implementation. You have to add that Firebase app check. This is for app check. So when I turn on app check, only people who download my application from the Google Play Store will be able to use the application. Otherwise, you won't be able to even talk to Firebase or anything like that. That's why I'm adding app check. Remember, I added Crashlytics. I'm going to be able to kind of like monitor the application, how it is in the wild. So these are the things that I'm adding here in my build.gradle. Perfect. So we should be good with that. That is the build.gradle. And I think I'm already down to reviewing the Gradle build. I've already done all of these. Under the Android block, I already checked all of these. So now let's check the review, the build configuration. Check. Now, I skipped, I moved this step over here. It was down here, the updating the app's version number, but I moved it up. Why? Because it is very critical whenever you increase the application's version number. Every time you create a new version of your application and you upload it to, let's say, Google App Store, you need to increment the build, the version number. And remember, it uses those digits here. For example, the way that you set that up, I believe I saved all of that. The way that you set up your application's version number, you got to go to the pubspec.yaml. All the way at the top, there's the version number right here. So I usually keep like a version for iOS and a version for Android. I try to keep them parallel as much as I can, but usually the Android version goes a little bit ahead because maybe I either push more updates to that, but that's totally fine. Sometimes I do this, and I for example, I say like like Android version, and then I have like another one for like my iOS version, and then I just edit it here. And then, for example, I keep one version for iOS, I keep one version for Android. If for example, like I'm pushing more updates to one or the other, so to speak, something like that. So that's a suggestion that you can do. You don't have to do it. But at least in this particular case, you can keep them in parallel. For now, we're going to leave it like this because it's going to be our first version of the application, build number 1. So it's going to be version 1, build 1, for example. You can just keep it exactly the way that it was. The way that remember, 12 weeks ago, we did Flutter create and we built a project that is the same version number. So we'll keep it like that. Perfect. So see, I moved it up and then I say I'm updating my app's version number. We're going to keep it like that. Perfect. So I'm just going to do check, update the app's version number. Now, after we review the build, now we're able to build the application for release. So remember, we can either do two ways in order to build the application for publishing it to the Android app, to the Google Play Store. We can create an app bundle. See, they even say is the preferred version, or we can do an APK. And you see, like they say, you can actually do, for example, like other things like obfuscate the code and whatnot. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing here. So you see, when we say build an app bundle, we're going to build a release app bundle. So when you say Flutter build app bundle, it defaults to a release build. It's not like you're going to build a debug package. When you say Flutter build app bundle, it already defaults to the release build. And remember, all those configurations are going to apply. So now we're also going to do obfuscating of the code, again, to make it more difficult for people to reverse engineer. If anybody tries to download my application and tries to open up the package and try to snoop around in it, I'm going to make it hard for them to get to my code or to some of the API secrets and all of that I have in there. So let's exactly do that. So we're going to now build the application for release. So let's take a look. I'm going to close here. So I have to cd into my project. This is exactly the same way that we're doing it. So the way that I do it is you say Flutter build app bundle, just like that. You see, it says Flutter build app bundle. But now if you want to add, for example, the options for obfuscation, I'm going to do it like this. So you do, if you want to add the options for obfuscation, you have to say -- obfuscate, right? And then you do the split debug, right? Like we're mentioning split debug info, right? And then the split debug info, what it's going to do is it's going to generate some symbols. It's going to generate some mappings, because we're going to be using that. Let's say if I want to debug my application after it has been, for example, like obfuscated. You can even take a look more in obfuscating your Dart code in that link, because that's exactly what it's going to tell you. Like you can use that the split debug info flag along with the obfuscate. Is not going to let you obfuscate on its own. You have to say split debug info and then point it to a directory where some of those symbol maps are going to be generated. You use those files then to debug your files and whatnot. Great. And remember, the split debug info can dramatically reduce the code size along with the obfuscation. So let's take a look at that. So let me go back. I'm going to say split debug info, but then, for example, I'm going to be using one new directory. I'm going to say, for example, I'm going to use my roots project, and I'm going to say skipping frog mobile, for example, something like that. If I do that, what it's going to do is going to generate the release version of the application, but it's going to create a separate folder where some symbol maps are going to be generated for me. So now if I hit enter, now let's see. So it's going to see it's building with sound null safety. It says that it's building with multiplex already enabled. It's generated the bundle release, an AAB file, and there it is. So the file is called apprelease.aab. It's 27 megabytes. I can try to run it and show you without the obfuscation and without the let's try that. So if I try to do it like this with just the Flutter build bundle, if I say Flutter build app bundle, Let's see how big it is. Like if without the obfuscation and without the split debug info, let's see how big it gets. Right now it's 27 megabytes obfuscated with the split debug info. Let's see how it is. It may not be like super considerable, but let's take a look. Because this application is, remember, I try to keep it very light, the minimum amount of packages. Now let's see. Oh, so okay. So I saved a megabyte or two, right? Like, 1.2 megabytes, something like that. So I saved something like that. So there we go. So it's not that much, but that's fine. I still want to do the obfuscation. Let's do it again. So I'm going to regenerate it. Make sure that it's 27 megabytes. That is exactly what I'm going to be using as my release version, the application bundle, the release version, so I can publish it to the Google Play Store. So let's try that. Yes, there's CI/CD pipeline definitely comes in handy at this point. So I would love for that. Yes, there 27.1 megabytes. Let's take a look at the file. So if I click on this, actually it doesn't open it up, but I will do reveal in Finder. Let's take a look at the file. See, I'm gonna do it again. So I'm gonna remove it. So I'm gonna move it to trash. Move to trash. I'm gonna do it again because for some reason the release version. So let's try it again. So I'm gonna do this because I saw the 28 megabyte version. Probably had to refresh, but let's do it again. Let's make sure that it actually gets generated. 27.1 megabytes should be okay. There it is. So it generated 27.1. Reveal in Finder. Well, it still shows that, but it probably might be like, for example, if I do this and I show it as columns, make sure that this is the actual one. So Flutter APK, those are some of the APK ones, but I'm not doing APK. So I'm doing the bundle release, app release. So 28.8, that's the, so it's just probably saying that, it built it like that. For some reason, it showed me, even if I do that, for example, let me try it. I will do, for example, I can try do like a Flutter clean just to make sure, and I'll do it again. That's totally fine. But I just wanted to make sure that at least when I execute the obfuscate split debug info, actually the debug info, I should have shown you the files, the split debugging files that got generated. So let's try it again. So I'm gonna do that. I'm going to then say Flutter build app bundle. Again, split debug info. Let's try it again with the obfuscate flag. Let's try it. So see, I'm getting everything. I'm rebuilding it from scratch, making sure that I build everything in a more lightweight fashion. So let's take a look. Multi-dex enabled, bundle release version. We're gonna go with this one anyway because it was not that much a considerable difference, but at least we're moving forward. Great. Make sure to tweet Flutter Live Coding. At the end of the session, I'm going to be raffling a Flutter t-shirt right before the holidays so that you can wear it during Thanksgiving and you can argue about Flutter. What's best, Flutter or React, with your family members at dinner? Or you can find ways to, rock it everywhere you go. So you can rock a nice Flutter t-shirt. Make sure to tweet Flutter Live Coding. At the end of the session, I'm going to be raffling that t-shirt. So make sure to stay tuned for those. So I'm waiting for the release to complete. Let's go back again. So I'm going to go to my build app outputs, bundle app release. Let's take a look one more time. Still the same, but I'm going to go with that anyway. So I'm going to go 28.4. Perfect. So I'm going to use that one. Let me grab it again. Reveal in Finder. That is my release version. App.release. I'm good with that. Perfect. So are we good with this? Perfect. Let's move on to the next one. After I do that, see, the release bundle is created at that place. I'm going to use that. That's totally fine. And like I showed you, this is a folder where my symbols got generated. So I have one for ARM, ARM64, x64 symbols, and all of that. So I can keep those in here. I'm not going to check those in. So I'm going to keep those local just in case. Perfect. I have my release version. Did we build the app for release? Awesome. Let's just do a check on this. And now we should be able to go to the Google Play Store. And now let's publish our application. Shall we? While I do this, make sure to tweet Flutter Live Coding. At the end of the session, I'm going to be raffling a Flutter t-shirt. So let's try that. So after I do that, I'm not going to build the APK. Now let's go to the Google Play Store. So I already have my Google Play Store account in here. Remember, for those of you who are ready to publish your application to the Google Play Store, you got to pay $25. That is the license price forever. You only pay, it's a one-time cost. You pay $25. You have your developer account. You have your Play Google account so that you can submit your applications in here. So let's start creating our application. Let's start submitting. So the first thing that you want to do is create an app. So I'm going to click Create App. What are we calling it? Of course, we're going to call it Skipping Frog. Awesome. The default language will be English US. This is going to be a game. It's going to be free for now. If I see that a lot of people are downloading it, I'm going to release the next version, which has ads right underneath it. So stay tuned for that. For now, we're going to keep it for free. I'm going to then enable these declarations, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to just scroll this up right here. And I'm going to click Create App. So that's the first thing that you do. You create kind of like the bare minimum profile in the Google Play Console Store so that then you can start setting your application up. I am hardcore. After I create that, I immediately go to the production. I skip all of the other stuff like releases overview because I'm going to show you why I do this. It's because I like to go to the production, and when you immediately try to create a release, it already tells you what are the things that the things that you need to check off in order to publish. And I like that immediate feedback as opposed to me like hunting down what things I need to do. This is my shortcut. So I go to production. I create a new production release. So I click Create New Release. And then immediately it tells me you need to upload your app bundle. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. So let me go grab my app bundle. Actually, it's right here. So Android, build app outputs bundle here. So I'm going to do Reveal Finder. Here it is. Let's go back to the here to the store, and I'm just gonna drag it over. So that's all I'm gonna do. So let me just drag it over. Sorry about that. Here we go. So now let me drag my app release.abb right here. So I'm gonna drop it. Is uploading the file, generating the key, blah blah blah, and all of that. Awesome. So after that, then I'm gonna fill in the other details, and you see it will tell you immediately. You can publish this application right away. You need to fill in a bunch of stuff, but I like the process to tell me what things are missing. That way, I don't have to be hunting them down and spending too much time on that. So this is my shortcut. I create the basic application profile, then I immediately upload my application bundle. After this, at least I make sure that everything is well. See, it already uploaded it fine. It already picked up the version. So build 1 version 1.0.0. It already tells me what are the target SDKs, the type of screen layouts that I'm supporting, and blah, 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 all of that. See, already populated my release name. I'm going to add some release notes. For example, I'm going to say Skipping Frog application developed in Flutter with love from Roman. Let's use that as our release notes. Perfect. Those are like the release notes. Now I save. So you have to continuously save. Check this out. After I do this, look what I do. I click Review Release. When you go to Review Release, this is what I was referring to. You get 7 errors. This is the minimum then that you need to do in order to publish your application to the Google Play Store. So see, you fix those 7 errors, you're good to go. All the other stuff is not required whatsoever. It's not mandatory. You can edit those things, but if you do this, it immediately tells you you only got to complete the 7 errors, then you're good to go. Awesome. So let's do that. So I'm gonna expand my 7 errors. There you go. Randall says, Roman drives the other half at the same time. Okay, let's try. So I'm going to expand that and see it tells you exactly what are the things that you need to address. So let's start from the top. Your app cannot be published yet. Complete the steps listed on the dashboard. Let's go to the dashboard. So it tells you in the dashboard what things you need to do. So I'm gonna, for example, I'm not gonna do the release test. I'm gonna just go, for example, for some of the things that it is requiring by my application. So for example, I'm not gonna do it, the testers. I'm gonna set up my application. Yes, I'm gonna do the set up my application. So these are the things that you need to know to complete kind of like the profile of your application. So let's set up a privacy policy. First thing, privacy policy URL. I'm going to be using my website, my portfolio as that. Later on, I'm going to change this, but I'm going to point it to maybe a privacy policy page that I create in here. I can also maybe point it to this. This is the old version of the application, which was only available for iOS, remember? But I'm going to point it to this portfolio page where then I'm going to have like a more description about the application and whatnot. This is the old version of the application, which was only developed in Objective-C, remember? So I'm going to point it to here, but I'm going to use the root of my portfolio as the privacy policy, for example. But again, they expect like a legit website, but they're not going to ding you because of this. Not even the App Store. So I'm going to do that, paste it there, save my changes, continue. Go back to the dashboard. You see? Check. Now you continue. App access. So Google may use this information to review your app, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna, for example, what type of access do you have? Forms of authentication, provide instructions on how to access them. I'm gonna say all functionalities available without special access. Actually, I can say all of some functionality is restricted, and then actually what I can say is all functionalities available, meaning the main functionality of my application is available without special access. You have to submit, let's say for the leaderboards, using Firebase, you need to be authenticated, but the main core of my application, you can access it normally. So I'm gonna say all functionalities available. You can do this. Now I'm gonna continue and say save. I'm gonna go to the next one. Ads. Do I have ads on my application? No, I don't have ads. Let's save and continue. So go back to the dashboard because I don't have any ads. And you see how I'm checking them off? That's cool, right? Content rating, I'm gonna have to do like a questionnaire here. I'm gonna click start questionnaire. I'm gonna have to put my email address in here. So I'm gonna say Roman eachrequest@gmail.com. Please don't spam me. This is a game. I'm gonna hit next. There's violence or blood? No. There's fear? No. Sexuality? No. Gambling? No. Language? Does it have potential language? No. Unless oops, you lose. You consider it bad? I'm sorry, but that's not bad language. Controlled substance? No. Crude humor? What? The fact that the frog falls in the water face down? Or, that's no crude humor. No, for example, no way to interact with other users? No. Does it share the user's current and precise physical location? No. Does the game allow users to purchase goods? No. Contain swastikas or not? No, none of that. Any content that substantially erode the national identity? No. Does it contain detailed description of techniques? No. Advocate committing acts? No. So you see all of that. It was like no, straight down. I hit save, continue to the next one. And see, I already get a rating for that. After I complete that, I already get a basic rating for my application. So you can see it. It's available for some applications, for some countries. Now I hit submit. Perfect. I already got my ratings. It's all good. Let's go back to the dashboard. Let's go to the target audience. I'm going to say, let's try to keep it fair, because I'm going to say if I provide, for example, if I say like, if it's for 5 and under, for example, like if it's for kids, I have to provide like a bunch of things. I'm going to say is for 18 and over, for example. If you want to lend your kid the phone, you can do it, and please supervise it. But I'm going to do it very simple, 18 and over, so I don't have to do other things, because it may, for example, when you have to select like those ages, you have to provide some other stuff and whatnot. I don't want to get into that, but I'm going to keep it simple. So I'm going to hit next. Store presence. Could your store listing unintentionally appeal to children? I could say yes, but it's not intended, but it could. But at least if I do that, I don't have to do like a lot of crazy things after that. So I just hit save and continue. Go back to the dashboard. Now you see how we're almost complete. News apps. Is this a news application? No. Let's continue. Go back to the dashboard. COVID-19. This has nothing to do with COVID-19. It's not a publicly available COVID-19 contract tracing app. I don't know why they add this as a separate step, but it is there. I save it and I say no. Go back to the dashboard. The next one, data safety. So here is the some of the things about like data safety that they ask. So you can just hit next. Does your app collect or share any of the required user data types? you can click here and look at the view data types. For example, I don't ask for email. I don't ask for email addresses. All of that is not persisted in the application. We're using that authentication via Firebase, so it's protected. I don't ask for any other stuff for name or addresses or approximate location. So I'll say no safely. I'll hit, can say save draft, next. See, it's all good. I'm good with my store listing preview. I'll hit submit. I'll go back to the dashboard, and I think I'm pretty much almost done with this. I have to select now a category for my application and provide some contact details. So I click there. I'm gonna say this is a game. It's a casual game. I can add tags if I want to. I can do, for example, like I don't know what tags do we have in here. For example, like I can say, let me see, animals. No, there's nothing. There's casual. There's what? Okay, I mean, I can just keep it like that. I don't have to add tags, but if you have like some relevant tags for your application, you can add those. I'm gonna add some of my I'm gonna add my website, of course, and I'm gonna add some contact details because you need to do that for that. I don't know why it needs a phone number. I don't need that. I don't need the phone number. I'm just gonna add my email and the website. I am gonna advertise my application outside of Google Play until I add ads or whatever, but I'm gonna keep it like that. Hit save. Changes have been saved. Let's go back to I think we should be good with this. Let me go back to my dashboard. Let me take a look. I think we're good. Okay, now I need to set up the store listing. For this, you need to have some pre-created stuff. Yes, Randall, you hit it in the nail. Some HIPAA rules and a bunch of stuff that I don't want to get into. So thank you for that. Yes, great. So let's now do the store listing. I'm gonna hit the store listing. For this, you need to have a couple of things pre-set up, like have to have some screenshots, banners, icons, and whatnot. I already have it set up. Now let's actually bring them over. So I have like some images. I think I already have them here in a folder that I created in the screens Android app. Let me reveal it in Finder so I can show you. Here they are. So I have some images like for the, you see, like I have the icon, some screens, a banner and whatnot. So I already pre-created those. So the short description will be, let's say, you know, countless hours, hours of fun making the, the frog jump across the pond, something like that. And then I have already a full description. I already have it here. Let me copy paste it right for you. I'm just gonna drop it right here, the full description. So I'm mentioning that the goal of the game is to get the frog across the pond in the shortest amount of time while collecting bugs along the way. Swiping gestures in the direction of the next leaf allow the frog to jump to it. This is a fun and casual simple game available for both Android and iOS. Sign in with Apple or Gmail and submit your score to the leaderboards, blah blah blah. And I mentioned, of course, this game was developed by Flutter by Roman Just Code. So and then I can even put probably like the YouTube link to all this series if people want to watch how we build it. But we'll keep it like this. We can do that later. Graphics. You need these guys right here. So let's try that. I'm going to start dropping some of those images. I think I have them here. So I need a 512 by 512 icon. So I already have it here. I'm going to drop it. So it has to be 512 by 512. Otherwise, this is going to blow up. I need also a feature graphic, which has to be 1024 by 500. I already have it ready. So I'm going to drop it here. There it is. And the video. Oh, there it is. So, of course, I'm going to add the video. Let's do that. I'm going to drop the channel. Let me drop the, Roman Just Goes YouTube channel. And then that way I can point it even to the series. And then that way they can do that. So I'm going to do youtube.com. Roman. Yeah, of course. I didn't know I could do that. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to drop it right there. People can just find. But I can change this to the video, a more formal video of this application. I think I already posted it on Twitter. I'm going to replace this later, but I'm going to keep this as a placeholder. Phone. So I need a minimum of how many? 2 to 8 phone screenshots based on the application. What I did, I used my emulator, and then I used this feature right here to take screenshots, and then I took a couple of images from it. So I started doing like click, and then it started creating like a bunch of screenshots for me. I already have them, so let me just drop them in here. Here we go. I'm gonna just drag them over. I have 8 in total, and then you will see they're just parts of the application. I can rearrange them. For example, like this should be the first one. I can drop it in here. I can do the game one, like right here. You can rearrange it, which is pretty cool. This could be moved out here. What else? These are the options. I can do this one here. I can do this one here, like the end of the game. Then you have the options. People show how they lose, how they win, and they show the leaderboards, so stuff like that. So make sure to have ready some of these screenshots. Otherwise, then you're like halfway through the process and you won't be able to complete it. I'm not going to support tablet. I'm not going to support Chromebooks. So I'm good. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to show you where, it says my changes couldn't be saved because, the languages. So I need to add the languages that I need to support. So let's do that. So for example, it says some languages have errors. Change default language. That is my default language. There's a place where I need to do it. Let me see. I'm going to hit save. There's a place where I need to do the languages. It's not here. Let me dismiss this one. I'm going to get to that point. I know that I have to set up my languages somewhere here. Configuration, achievements, events, leaderboard. No, none of this. I know there's a language place. I think it was at the beginning. Let me try again. Oh, no, hold on. Let me take a look. Graphics, feature graphic, video. Enter a valid YouTube URL. Come on. I'm not going to... Okay, I'm just going to take that out because it says enter a valid URL. It says that it wasn't valid. That's kind of weird. So if I hit save... Oh, at least it allowed me to do that. Oh, that was just another type of error, but the video was wrong. So I can replace it later by a more legit video. That's all good. You see, now let's go back to the dashboard and let's see where we are in the whole process. So if I go to release the application, here it is. Select the countries and regions. I need to do that. So I'm going to say countries and regions, add countries and regions. I'm going to say add them all. Let's have it available to all available countries that I'm able to distribute this application. So let's do that. Let's see. Your app will be available to eligible testers, blah, blah, blah. Is this for testing? Wait, no, this is for alpha. No, I want to do not the testing. Sorry. I think I click here where it says testing. I want to do the releases overview again. The country. Okay, the countries are there already. Okay, so I think I should be all set. Sorry about that. Let's go back to the dashboard. This is the release of the application. This is the release. Review and roll out. That's all good. Publishing the apps on the Google Play. Review and roll out the release. Let's go to that point. But I thought it was this one. Oh, there it is. I think this is the one for production. There we go. So the production version, I want to add the countries and regions. This is the one. Let me select add countries and regions. Hit add. Now I'm going to add it to everybody. Thank you. Sorry about that. You linked to a YouTube channel. Thank you. Nick, thank you so much. And thank you for joining. Yes, it was a channel, not an actual video. I'm going to replace that with a more formal video. It's actually going to be better. So thank you for that. Yeah, that was the issue. I have all my countries. I'm all good. Let's go back to production. I'm going to go back to my dashboard just to make sure that I have not skipped anything. Publish your app, review and roll out the release. I already did the countries and regions. I only need my last one, which is this one. This is my release. This is the summary. Oh, the device catalog. That's what I wanted to show you. Remember the things that I added to my manifest? Remember here, Android app, source, and main app Droid manifest. And by me adding these two chunks of code, support screens and compatible screens, this actually affects my device catalog. Device catalog is actually the list of devices. You know how fragmented Android is. So it's the list of devices that you're going to release your application, that your application is going to be available, that your users are going to be able to download the application, find it in the Google Play Store on their phones, and download the application. That's why I limited to, again, like I said, normal devices, medium, high, and extra high density, right? The device pixel, density pixel independent pixels, right? The DPIs. So here, for example, if I do all devices, look at all the devices. It's 22,000 devices available for you to deploy your application, but the targeted devices are 9,000 types of devices. They're all, you see, like they're all phones. They're not like dual phones. They're not tablets. They're not Chromebooks. They're not big ass devices. No, it's just this. My targeted devices are these. This is exactly what I want. So that's my device catalog. So that is actually affected by the manifest, what I added in the manifest. Let's continue because I think we should be good. We're almost about to finish it. Make sure to tweet Flutter Live Coding at the end of the session. We're going to be raffling a Flutter t-shirt better than this one. I guarantee it. And some of the folks in the chat can guarantee that as well. So let's do that. Let's continue. I'm going to go back to my to the production. And here it is. I'm going to go to my dashboard one more time just to make sure. So I have my review and roll out the release. Let's do that. I have my countries and regions all set. This is my release dashboard. These are the releases. This is the release history. There are no previous releases. Let's go back to the release. I have everything. Now let's review it. Perfect. Now we're ready. We only have 3 warnings. The warnings are like, I need to complete the advertising ID declaration. I don't need that. Developer of Play Services SafeNet. Added to the blah, blah. I don't need this. And this app bundle contains native code and you've not uploaded debug symbols. I don't want to upload the debug symbols. But it says they recommend that if you want to make your crash and ANRs, like the Android, those ANRs, like those type of errors that you get in Android and some of your crashes. Let's keep it simple. I'm just gonna upload my my app bundle and that's it. This is the download size for new installs, as you see right there. That's my app bundle, release notes. We all good? Are we ready? Are we ready to roll this out to production? Randall has already predicted that it's going to be off. Please, come on. Let's hype. Let's roll it out to production, guys. I'm going to hit start roll out to production. It's going to be available probably in the next hour or so. It all depends on Android. They usually do it even like right away. Let's do it. Go. Damien says go. I'm going to do it. Start roll out to production. This release will be available to all users in the chosen countries. Rollout and production is already in review. Perfect. But it's already there in review. Now, if I go back to my all apps, I should be able to see my application right there. You see it's in review. The app status is a draft. Nobody has installed it, of course. But let's keep an eye. I'm going to be keeping an eye on that for you. And I'm going to be tweeting when the application is fully available. Or you can go to the Google Play Store and refresh the whole night, finding Skipping Frog until it shows up in there. But that's it, guys. We made it. Thank you so much. 13 weeks in the making. And now we have our application already published to the Google Play Store. You're going to be able to enjoy this game. This was your game because you helped me build it. Randall, with your amazing comments and great suggestions. Damien, also, you were providing input. Diane, you joined and you also helped us out, providing great input. Sirhan, I haven't seen you, buddy, in a while. Nick, thank you so much for joining. Some of you guys who have been here throughout these sessions, helping me build this application. There it is. Now, what's your excuse to not build a Flutter application and build it and submit it to the Google Play Store? Just tell me. I'm gonna wait. What's your excuse? Anyway, guys, thank you so much. I'm not trying to force you or anything. Let me know, in the comments, in the Twitter. You can leave me a comment in there. But yes, so seriously, if anything blocking you from building an application, even as simple as this one, remember this one even has like some complex and some advanced techniques and strategies, but you may look simple, because it's a frog or whatever, but you saw throughout these series how I was able to build it with all those constructs. Remember, we used Firebase authentication, we used state management using provider, we used shared preferences, we did a bunch of things, storing shared preferences like I mentioned. We also use custom widgets. We did animations, explicit animations. We did navigation using Navigator 1.0. There's a bunch of really cool things that I implemented in there. I'm thinking about really cleaning up the code and just releasing this application for everybody to see how I actually built it, but I just need to clean up a few things. But other than that, there's the application. It's already set. Keep refreshing. Let me see, because sometimes they release it like, oh, there it is. Oh no, I thought it was, I got scared. I'm like, it says production. I thought it was in production. No, not yet, guys. Not yet. It's not in production yet. Keep refreshing. Make sure to tweet Flutter live coding. Make sure to do that, because now we're going to be doing the raffle. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, you're going to be publishing yours? Awesome. Thank you. Please make sure, let us all know. That way we can download it and give you some feedback and whatnot. So now it's time, now that we've built and released the Android version of the Skipping Frog casual game, in the next episode, pretty much, I'll see if I can do it next week. I think for the holidays, no, I think we should be good. Next week, I'm going to be releasing the iOS version of this same application, so stay tuned. I'm going to be doing the App Store version, the iOS version of this application. So now, let's do the raffle. Let's go to Wheel of Names. Let's take a look who has tweeted Flutter live coding throughout the session and has had as much fun as I have making this application available for everybody, for the Android users. So let's go to import Twitter users, and I'll do Flutter live coding. Let's see who has done it. I'll do okay, and we have a couple of folks in here. Great. I'm not there. That's perfect. Now, again, I wish everybody luck. Thank you so much for being so graceful enough to stay throughout the session. We made it right. 1 hour it took us. See, it takes you just 1 hour to release an application. Now, good luck to everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Good luck. I'll spin the wheel. Remember, a Flutter t-shirt so that you can enjoy the holidays with it. So, spin. Let's do this. Who's going to be the lucky? Who's going to be the lucky one? Great. Deem Developer. Thank you so much. You're the lucky winner of a Flutter t-shirt. Even cooler, even better than this one. So thank you so much for joining this session. Thank you everybody for being part of this session. This is Roman. I am Roman. I am a Flutter GDE. I am also again a lead organizer at GDG Lawrence. Thank you so much for being part of this session. I'll see you in the next session where we're gonna be deploying this application to the iOS for the iOS version to the Apple App Store. See you in the next one. Thank you so much. Happy holidays and have fun. See you in the next one. Thank you so much, guys.